As we start, let's tune in to our experience. When we begin a practice with this tuning in, it helps us to just notice what's going on in our system right now. We're sitting here together, and I'm recording this the day after the violence in the US with the white supremacists and the terrorism that happened in that demonstration. And it's just, ever since I heard about it, I'm sure a lot of us are feeling just kind of heartsick at the violence and the hatred and the division between people. And it feels so terrible even to let that in. And it also doesn't really work to try and block it out either, of course. So the main thing that I try to work with during a time when I feel like this is to be really kind to myself to start, and just to acknowledge that these are really difficult things to be present with. It's scary and it's disturbing, and it's easy to move into despair or fear. It's really a difficult situation to be present with. So to acknowledge that to myself and be kind, whatever it is that I'm feeling, is a start. And as we notice what's happening in our body, we could take a few deeper breaths if that feels comfortable. These experiences happen in our mind and our thoughts, and they also happen in our body. So oftentimes when we tune in, we'll feel the energy of it. Notice what you're feeling like in your body and see if you could allow yourself to relax a bit. Let your muscles settle in to the support of your chair or the support of the floor, perhaps. Notice your breath and notice how your body moves with your breath. And see if you could release some of the energy in your body as you're breathing out. All of the emotions and the responses that we have are residing in the body, and it's good to just let them be noticed and then see if we could let them release a bit. As we're doing the practice right now, for most of us, we would not have anything to fear. We're not going to be harmed. And the body might have a charge in it based on what happened, and also based on what might happen going forward. Just to notice what your situation is, how you feel. And notice what comes into the mind. Let's take a moment to notice the thoughts, the images. Some of us would have watched the news, some would be watching what's going on social media. There are images of the people involved, the reporting of it, the response and the non-response from different people. So there might be a lot of flurry of activity in the mind. Let's give it a moment to really notice the images that come forward. And notice that those are colors and shapes that are coming into the mind. That's how our minds work. There's an association of memories. There could be some projections about worrying around what might happen next. Will there be more violence? So some of what's in the mind might be on the past few days. It might be a more historical perspective of many years or decades. It might be going into the future. But whatever it is that's coming up, it's thoughts, words, and images that for right now we're observing or looking at. We always have the option of looking at things with our eyes open. We could put the images on a wall across from us. We could put a frame around it or look at it like we're watching images on a screen. We're not actually experiencing any of what's happening in the mind. In the physical world, we're looking at images that are coming up. We're looking at thoughts. We're observing what's happening in the mind. And it's always a possibility to put a frame around it, take your eyes into the space around the outside. If we take our eyes around that space clockwise a few times and counterclockwise a few times, it helps the brain to know that this is not something that's happening right now. Generally, we'll take some of the intensity out. And then notice what's happening in your body. What does it feel like in your body right now? What's the energy like in your body? I use the word heartsick. What does that feel like if that's what you're feeling? If it's fear, what does that feel like? And as you're tuning into your body, into the energy in your body, keep that perspective of the witness or the observer. There's the energy that's present, and there's our observation of it. We can notice the attributes of it, like hot or cold, or colors, shapes. If it feels still, or if it feels moving or pulsing. We can look at our energy kind of like a scientist would and describe it in a way. We could notice the location, where it is, and then where it isn't anymore. And if anything feels like it's too intense to stay really closely present with, then no judgment around that either. If that's how it feels, then we need to just honor that. We could pay attention in a more general way. We could notice all the space around it. Words and images might come up as we're paying attention to the energy, and we could have a look at them. We can also continue to notice our body, our breath, anchor our awareness into this moment through the body and the breath. And notice if you can hold whatever's happening in your own experience in some kind of light. And that might be a literal experience, it might be a sense of just attending to the energy, attending to the experience. It might be a sense of letting it move to the background for a moment and focusing on your breath. Relax your body, let the energy settle. And as we sit with this, continue to notice your experience, your thoughts, your energy, what's happening in your body. It's good to acknowledge our experience, our reactions. We could have a lot of different reactions: fear, anger, hatred, despair. There are all kinds of ways, and they might be all coming through, or we might be more focused on one. Human beings respond to the environment and to the experiences, so it makes sense that we would have a response to something like this. And when we have a intense response, it also makes sense that we would want to numb that out perhaps, or we would want to get some distance from it because it feels distressing. So whatever it is that's coming up and however it is that you're managing it or handling it, see if you can let it be as it is. Keep noticing your breath. Notice the safety in your body right now. There's thoughts, words, images. As much as possible, remain aware of them as the observer. We're just giving our system a chance to bring forward what's going on. To look at our responses. Notice what's happening. If it feels okay to anchor through the breath, then allow yourself to focus on your breath as well. And if you're inclined to reach out energetically to the other people that were directly involved, and let your attention, your prayers, the light, however that might work for you, go to all of the people that were involved yesterday. Allow a calming presence to move outwards into the world, into the people that are so affected by it. And if that feels like that's not appropriate right now, or it's not what you want to do, then don't even worry about it. Just come back to your breath, to your body. Relax and attend to your own experience, what's happening right now for you. These are difficult. It's okay to take care of ourselves. And notice that whatever it is that's happened in the last 15 minutes or so, we can always come back and spend more time attending to the inner experience, to the energy in our body, to working with the thoughts through the tools that we have of remaining aware that these are thoughts, that it's not something that's happening immediately to us in this body, in this moment. And also how natural it is that we respond, we feel when there's something like this going on. And our feelings are varied. There's no correct way. We don't need to put pressure on ourselves to have some certain experience instead of another one. We could just attend to it just exactly as it is. Give ourselves that gift of kind attention.